So I'm outside with my trusty pet cat who is scaring off all of the birds from the garden and having the time of his life playing, and a minute he'll just start running around acting crazy for no reason. This cat is under a year old and he is the funniest animal that I've ever seen. And he lives in peace with our basset hound, which is really cool. So him and I are outside by ourselves and we're tackling a project because my youngest is napping, it's later in the evening, and everyone else is just kind of hanging out. So here you can see all of these Amazon boxes, and yes, you can take the tape off, labels, whatever you feel like taking off. And what I'm doing is laying this down on the grass to kind of smother out the grass, and then I'm putting topsoil on top and allowing our plants a chance to kind of grow. And here's a pretty good example of how I've just torn it up. It doesn't have to be fancy or special, and overlapped it. I did try cutting it nicely. It was not working, and I can't find my box cutter, so I just started shredding it and kind of overlapping it and then putting dirt on here, so that dirt's just kind of weigh it down. And I found that because this area is so small, it was very difficult to get the wheelbarrow inside of here like I had originally planned. See the wheelbarrow over there with a box in it, because I decided that plan was not going to work after the first dump. And so I just took a 5-gallon bucket and scooped up the dirt from our dirt pile using this bucket and dumped it over the fence in this area. And it wasn't as hard as you may think. I think I've just actually built up a tolerance for being in the garden so much. That's really reality. It might be a little harder than I say it is. But it was the easiest way to throw dirt over this fence than it was to try and halfway fill up this wheelbarrow, weave through all of this, and then dump it in such a small area in the garden. It's not a massive area. It's kind of like this weird thin long row, and you can see where I've used my hands and kind of smashed it down. My hands are much smaller than that, and so it took a lot of pressing to get that shape. And so here it is. I've laid the cardboard down. I've put this topsoil on top of it. I'll plant inside of it our peas and eventually cucumbers, and I will then add some compost on top of it and just let them grow up this fence line. Now these are not, normal standard size peas, beans, or cucumbers. We're not talking about ones that get 8 foot tall and go wild. We're talking about little miniature ones that are about 2.5 to 3 feet in height. So it's nothing that we really have to worry about. And I can also put some mulch on the other side to keep that grass from growing in between the fence line. But really it's just to give the peas and cucumbers or whatever we decide to grow a head start, because the weeds won't be able to come up and take over before they really get started. And it's a really good time of year to kind of start everything. Okay, so Jackson has come outside and volunteered to help me, which is cool. And although we had a little mishap dumping out the wheelbarrow, which happens because, like I said, this wheelbarrow, even after adding gear, it's just not sturdy enough for what we need 100%. But here's some of the dirt that got dumped out, and it doesn't matter because we still got our job done. We still have
I pack it in
an insane amount of dirt left right here in this pile
just to beat up.
that the boys are, of course, playing having the time of their lives. And here's kind of what it looks like, and you recognize all this stuff in this area by now, I'm sure. So this is where we're at. This huge pile right over here, it's kind of furrowed up where we can plant right on top of it. So now you see it, and it's kind of packed in a bit. Exactly how this is going to work, a good idea. Yeah, I got this dirty, but it's no big deal. And then where this grass in, we'll just lay some compost down after some cardboard, and it won't even matter. So it's pretty good amount. And so I think we might have to go a little bit further out right here on this side, lay down some more cardboard and add some more dirt to it. And then, what do you think, Jack? In this area right here, we might need to lay down a little bit more cardboard and add some more dirt to it, because this is not as wide as that area over here. But over there I could use the wheelbarrow. We were able to use the wheelbarrow, and over here it's a little harder to get through with the wheelbarrow. You may be able to, but
So you do it with the bat.
what do you think? You think it will grow pretty well here?
Well, considering the fact there's clay in the dirt, and on top of that, it's the stuff that's already been fermenting here. I mean, the dirt's already pretty good. I mean, considering you live in an oil-rich country, you know.
Yeah. We need to just add some compost, I think, on top of it after we plant. The question is, what do we want to plant?
What you talking about, we?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna be here.
When are you going home?
I don't know. I've been waiting on you to call Mom and ask. I didn't want to.
Oh, are you ready already? Are you getting work too hard now?
No, I just don't want to go back home.
Oh, you want to stay here forever? Aw, I feel so loved. Isn't my brother so sweet? We have a lot more to do than they have at home, so it gets kind of boring when you're homeschooled.
Charlie, you ready?
But here we have a bigger yard, so they're able to do a little more. The cool thing is that my parents are planning on buying some more land. So, okay, what's up? I had to stop the video earlier because Sam actually accidentally got hit in all the rough play, didn't you, Sam?
Yes, that's why I chased Charlie down.
What parts? What parts?
Right about where you're at. That, yeah, you see how it's kind of lower here and not as wide as in the other areas?
Yeah.
Just so that when we pat it down.
Oh, look at that.
Wait, let me see.
Look at the roots on
I can't see it. Put your hand on some. Oh, there it is. What is that?
It's a root of some sort because there's roots hanging off
It
of
was
it.
kind of hanging out in our pile. It almost looks like a bean sprout, which is really weird. Don't plant that. You don't know what it is in my garden.
I'll just put it right here.
No, don't do it. We don't know what it is. It's like...
Well, we could find out. It could be a fun adventure.
It could be an invasive weed and suddenly we're in big trouble.
Well, suddenly they make weed burners for that. You know, a big old torch. You need some
A
help?
big old torch.
Alright. It's just PVC anyways.
So we're... Well, not we're. Jackson's dumping the soil up.
Pile on top of it.
You made a giant pile on top of the dirt pile?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Small pile.
So what we're doing now is kind of widening this out so that when it's pat down, the seeds don't just wash right out with the first rain or anything else. It gives them a chance to kind of establish a little bit of roots. But as warm as it is, even though this is the coolest day it's been all week, huh?
Pretty much.
What is it, the low 70s now?
I would say low 70s, high 60s.
Yeah, it was definitely in the 60s this morning. I was
Oh
chilling.
no, it was like 63 this morning.
Yeah, it was really
bad.
cold.
And the wind was blowing really hard.
Can you tell we're from the deep south? Like, oh, 63. It was freezing this morning with the wind.
No, it was cold. It wasn't freezing. Freezing is I'm not going outside the house.
Yeah, that's true. It was kind of nice to have cooler weather when you're working. Oh no, you lost your LSU.
No!
It got caught on the fence. Everyone likes to use this to go in and out. Eventually it'll be closed off though.
How dare
Charlie.
you! Look what your fence did. Look what this fence did
Oh
to
wow,
my
it
clip.
really broke it.
I'm getting a pair of pliers.
Hi, Charlie. All of my farm kids, I said phone kids. All my farm kids just walk around without shirts on. Not our daughter. She's usually dressed, but our boys, they don't care. And I've tried to convince them otherwise. They are not convinced. The boys need to wear shirts outside, so it is what it is. I'm sorry if it bothers you. I'm not really. I'm sorry. But it just is what it is, guys. So, this is the dirt, and then we're just gonna lay it down and get our peas planted into it, or cucumbers or whatever. We'll probably start with peas right now, if the weather is permitting and it doesn't suddenly get like scorching hot in the high 80s and kill everything. But I'm not sure how many green bean plants I have, so I'll have to look at that. And then definitely some cucumbers into this after the peas are well established, because once it gets warm, the cucumbers are going to take over everything. And I couldn't remember the other day the type of cucumber seeds that I used in the other garden, but it was dark cucumbers. And actually I'm going to go through my videos and try and put some video footage of those dark cucumbers and what size they are from when I grew them last spring and summer, to give you a kind of idea of why I don't think it's going to be too much for this short fence, because the plants are fairly small in size. Okay. These are my dark cucumbers. Look at that. That's a pretty good sized cucumber for a couple of days of growth. They are doing really well. This is a compact bush, so if you don't have a lot of space, it only gets to about. You can kind of see where I said they filled in earlier this week. I said they had filled in with some of the topsoil. Boys, you almost knocked me out. They're running after each other in the yard now playing tag. So you can see where they've kind of been playing in it. I've been trying to get them to play in it all week. They wait until we're in the middle of work. It's just what boys having fun. So this whole area, we're quickly getting rid of all this topsoil and making good use of it. Aren't we, Charlie? And I think we only probably have one more long bed that we can get out of this before it's pretty much gone. But look at all it's done. This whole furrow for the peas. This is 25 feet of peas, guys, or whatever we decide to plant here. This whole bed and this whole other bed over here. It is incredible what we were able to build. How high are you up? Probably 8 feet. I mean, your head's 8 feet up. I would say that truck's about 5-6 feet off the ground. Well, I mean, from the ground to the top. And so that's a pretty good amount. I'm really thrilled that we were able to get this much done, and I'm excited to see maybe one more bed right in this area. I'm thinking right here where this cardboard is to do one more long bed all the way down, and we'll just see how much we can get. Now, I don't have the time or money to go get wood right now. What I do have is this cardboard, and I'm going to lay it all right here, and I'll actually take you to the back real fast and show you where I'm keeping all this cardboard all the time. So, all of this is the backyard area where the ducks and everything are. Yeah, it's actually, you can walk through it a little bit better. I have shoes on, but it's not as muddy as it was. You can actually walk through it. It's a rare sight to see me wear shoes in the garden, by the way. I don't. Okay, so here's this giant box that Larry got from work, and all the cardboard inside of it that I've been collecting from Christmas, grocery deliveries, everything else. You can see, like, Zevia Kids, when we got certain sodas and everything through Amazon. So these are just boxes and cardboard, this paper that I've been saving for months, and when I don't need it, I put it in this giant container in the backyard. It's out of the way, it's not in the house, and it kind of just saves it until I actually have a chance to start building garden beds. It's been a really great thing for us, a really cool resource to be able to kind of store this cardboard, and it makes a big difference in the garden when you're starting garden beds. I really think so. And then right over here, I have not opened this in a while. I do not know what it's going to look like. But here's another one of these giant shaped containers. And inside of it is compost. So I don't know what we're going to find. Mice, snakes, who knows? I doubt snakes, but I never doubt anything anymore. You can see it's just a mixture. It's kind of hard to lift. It's a little dark. Of everything. Cardboard. Oh, it smells definitely like fungi. It's a mixture of cardboard, everything else. You can see the kind of little insects coming in. Old pumpkins. It looks like there's actually something growing in all of this. Hold on. That has to be the pumpkins from... It sure is. Look at that. It's getting kind of dark now. But hold on, let me see if I can't turn on my light. In here where we composted the pumpkins and stuff from back in Halloween up through November when we put all those squash into our freezer, they are growing in this compost bin without any light whatsoever. That is really incredible. Not crazy. And so we've gotten cardboard, sometimes from our neighbors, our family, ourselves, pizza boxes. You can see they all break down really well. Now this hasn't been turned, even messed with whatsoever. It's just random stuff thrown into here and forgotten about. And I'm just kind of experimenting to see how it breaks down. I'll come and turn it, and I don't know, maybe I'll rescue a couple of baby pumpkins. But that's pretty crazy, right? If you look down here, we have all these Egyptian walking onions growing. And Charlie's actually pulling them up and feeding them to the geese. And let's see if I can get one out. They get pretty, well, oh man. I didn't quite get it, but all this is edible. And they're called walking onions because what happens is these little seed heads like this form on the top, and then they get heavy and they all fall over and it walks across the yard forming new onions. What is for dinner? That is the question, isn't it? Can we just go get something? I have turkey and everything defrosted to make spaghetti. I don't want spaghetti. So here's a really good example of what I believe is black fly, and it's on my turnips. Of course I don't want it here, but it's amazing what you find when you're not looking. Dude, you gotta get off my plants. Last thing I need is for it to lay eggs there. It's already so hot. It's already 80 degrees, guys. It's not even 11 a.m. It is going to get up to like 86, 87 today. We're not even halfway through March. I'm already exhausted. One thing about having lupus is that I'm not really good at tolerating the extreme heat, but on top of it, I have all those antibiotics right now that I'm on, and I am just absolutely exhausted and pouring sweat already. I cannot believe how crazy it is, but thank goodness we got all of our early spring crops out, but they're already sad and wilting because it's so hot out here, and usually I don't like watering my plants this time of morning. Let me zoom out a little bit. But it's, I don't know. I'm afraid that if I water them, of course I'll risk frying the leaves, because if you know, like when you go swimming and you get water on your skin, it feels like the sun is just amplified. And so I don't want to burn all of these plants and damage them. But look at them. They're so sad and so wilted. And the lettuce are doing better over there than anything else. So that's really strange. I think I might call today and see if I can't get some compost delivered. That seems to be like my best possible option. Even if I just get a yard or two. And you can see everything over there. It's looking really sad. So watering's not going to do any good on this topsoil if I can't get something to help retain all of that water. Especially, yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's so hot already. It's in the 80s, mid 80s. Turns out it was already hotter than I thought it was. Oh, mid 80s already. So you can see that I still need to finish this little furrow over here. I haven't got out to do that, and I haven't even finished planting, but I did decide that we are skipping peas altogether this spring. It is 80 something degrees already. That is just a breeding ground for blight and sadness in our peas. So what I'm going to do instead is plant nasturtiums, and I found a whole pack that I didn't know I had of nasturtium seeds. I'm going to soak those for 24 hours, and then I'm going to plant them into the ground, and then I'm going to plant a whole pack of dark cucumbers that I found.